hold is where we make minuscule adjustments over time so that the character still looks like he's not frozen, like a statue or background element. In the film above, there are 3 moving holds. The first pose is a short moving hold, and the second one is where he looks screen left while the antennae settle. He also blinks during the second one. The third one is at the very end. The character should never freeze, but remember, he shouldn't move too much. If he moves too much, it's going to be an action, not a moving hold. I find many students, their moving holds look more like actions or the character drifting. Here we can see there's a small moving hold before the eyes dart over. There's the eyes, then the head turns, and then the upper body. And then we have another moving hold here as everything settles. The big thing to note with a moving hold is you should be able to grab the cog and go from key to key and see a slight change. So see how you can see some change in the rotations here. Same with the hands, so nothing's freezing. If the cog changes slightly, that's going to affect the knees and of course the head. So you don't want a big movement, like if this was moving, let's say, like that over this period, that would be like drifting. It's really more of an action. It's not going to look good over this many frames. Now, if it was over 100 frames, it might work as a moving hold. So that's the idea of a moving hold. The character doesn't look like they're moving, but they're not frozen. We have another moving hold here. Now, don't forget, the antennae can be settling. You don't want the pupils dead either. I always keep the pupils alive by moving them also slightly or adding an eye blink. You could add a breath if it's a very long moving hold. That would work, but remember, a breath is really an action. So it has to work with what you're doing, and there has to be enough time. Moving holds don't have to be long. There's another very short one. And then he anticipates to jump. When I do moving holds, I do them right early. I'm working in step, of course, and I'm blocking my key poses. And I'm also, once I got my key poses done, I'm going to go in and put my moving holds in. I need to do the moving holds before I do my anticipations. This helps me rough out my timing. Working in step helps me develop a good sense of timing and also get really good, strong poses. So here I've got my first pose. He's standing here. He's going to have a nice moving hold here. Then he's going to do a small antic and anticipation and look. And then he's going to have a very short moving hold here and then do a jump to get back to there. Basically, he's going to do a take, animated take, where he's changing from one motion to another, and he does a big reaction. So that, in this case, I'm going to do a jump there. So I'll have to anticipate out of this, and I'll use that anticipation for the jump at the same time. So I need a moving hold here, and then I'm going to do a small anticipation and look here. I'll do a short moving hold here, and then do an anticipation for the jump. I have to do the anticipation for the jump before I do the high pose, because I need to know where I'm coming from, where I'm going to land, before I figure out how I get there. Let me show you what I mean about not doing the moving holds before I do the anticipations, how bad that would look. Okay, here's the anticipation, and this is without a moving hold. I'm not going to have this many frames for anticipation. So he would just float from this pose to that pose. And this, you're letting Maya do it. This is how people develop a really poor sense of time by working in auto, and then they get really floaty movement. So see how that just, you wouldn't antic that slow. So what I'm going to do is put my moving hold in. Move that back in step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go for maybe a 2. 2, 3, 4, 5 frames anticipation, and that'll give me this length of time for moving hold. And I can adjust these as I work, but I need to get the timing roughed in as I work in step. Get the major poses. I always get my key poses, moving holds, then anticipations, and major breakdowns. Then I get out of step and work an auto tangent. Do the secondary breakdowns where I'm not using my mel button anymore. I'm only keying what I need to key. So to make this moving hold, I could move that down slightly. I could move him a little bit this way. If I'm moving that way, I'm going to tilt the hip, of course, to count, basic mechanics. If he's got those weight on this leg, that hip's going to drop. I'm going to counter that slightly, and I'm going to drop this arm. Actually, I'm going to raise the arms because the hips are going down. I want the arms to be going up for a little bit of opposites. I love opposites. I don't like everything moving the same direction all at the same time. I don't want the arms too bent. Raise the shoulders. And then I'll go in and see how much bounce I'll need on the antennae that might work into this still. Now, if I think the hips are moving too much, if I find that, then I can just go damp that down. Or up in this case. So basically, now they're moving too much by the... There we go. Basically, that's how I do moving hold here. As he's sitting there, there's a short moving hold before he reacts. Good luck with your moving holds. Remember, the more critiques you get, the more we can help you. Really, the more we can teach you. Good luck. Keep in touch.